Hello, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing Friday. It is Friday, so yep, I had to double check. Yeah, I hope you're having an amazing Friday. I'm doing pretty well myself. I don't have many classes today, so I'm feeling much more chipper than yesterday. In fact, Spotify is a bit loud. We're gonna do that maybe? Yeah, just a tiny bit. You guys probably won't even hear it right now because I have it muted. But yeah, let's turn it back up just a tiny bit. Awesome stuff. Updated a tiny bit of stuff for the stream and the music. Slowly introducing more music. Tiptoeing on getting DMCA'd. That's always fun. But yeah, so I hope you're all having. What is what is the song's cover? Okay, well, that's awesome. Anyways, yeah. So today, even though it doesn't look like it, I have dropped the stream for the Drawbox people. So now it's introduced to people in Drawbox. They can join in whenever they want and watch me suffer and struggle, but also have an amazing time. So with that being said, let's get our pure ref open here. Make sure. After yesterday, I had a bit of a breakdown when it came to how I do my textures. So not like a bad breakdown, but I was like, oh goodness, I need to really focus up. So today we're gonna focus up. Also, I'm just in a much better mood. My timer is not working. That's not good. Oh, because it's there. It was set to the wrong item. There we go. Okay, our timer is set. So yeah, I hope everyone's having an amazing Friday. I don't expect too many people to be here because it is a Friday. Artists are nerds, but they also have social lives, so I don't doubt that. But yeah, for those who are here, hope you're having an amazing Friday. The weekend is now here. Today was very cold, and typically only have times to go to the gym in the mornings. So, I hopped on my bike. I don't have any gloves. I left those back in my home before I moved back to college. And that was a mistake. My hands almost froze off. But I didn't learn my lesson, and I went to a tea shop. I biked there as well, and my hands almost fell off again, especially because I was carrying, it was an iced tea, and I was carrying that back with me. I put my hands under like cold water to slowly warm it up, and the cold water felt hot. In fact, I could barely feel the cold water, so don't do that. Don't do what I did. But other than that, not a very eventful day. Got some great work done. Very happy with my productivity. But yeah, my classes are definitely off to the races. They do not care if I'm ready or not. They are moving. But that is somewhat expected. Really want to. Maybe I'll take some time this weekend because I am going to take, I think, Sunday off. Oh yeah, speaking forward, I do have a 24-hour competition next weekend, January 27th through the 28th, that I will be attending. So I will be taking off Saturday because the 24 hours will occupy most of that Saturday. But in regards to that Sunday, I'm not sure if I will stream or not. I really would like to, but given that it is a 24-hour competition, I probably won't be streaming textures. I'll need some brain function to do that. Then the week after that, I will have one of my first exams, so I may shift around the schedule a tiny bit just to accommodate for that. Ooh, yeah, well, my textures have really just declined right there. My textures, wow, my lines. I also do have 2 exams this semester at 7 o'clock at night that go about 2 hours each. So that will be an interesting little schedule change for me. And it's online. An online exam at 7 p.m. No clue why, but also weirdly enough, this semester is a bit more difficult because I have less exams, which means they weigh more. And I wouldn't think I would ever say that, but I kind of miss having like 3 or 4 exams, but now I only have 2 for many classes. Okay, we're gonna really focus up on our boxes today. We've seen a rapid decline in the quality of our boxes. Personally, I could be exaggerating, but we're gonna try our best here. Also, very excited for one of the textures today as well. Good stuff. I mean, it's easiest to do the first line, so we'll see how it goes from there, right? And also, I'm gonna stop like ghosting with my boxes soon. I want to start trying to develop my eye. I've done plenty of these to where I could start. You know, let's do that with this box. Actually, I mean, this line doesn't matter. We're establishing the VP here, so. Oof. Some like perfectly parallel lines almost. But yeah, I'll announce it a couple times during the stream. Let's see, so today is the 19th. So the 21st I will not be streaming. That will be one of our break days. Or maybe I will, and I'll just shift like a double break block into the next week. Maybe I'll do that. That sounds actually very possible. Oh, I just realized I'm ghosting. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but you know, try doing this with our mind. Slowly but surely pushing ourselves towards new skills. It is quite difficult though, it's hurting my brain. I'd say this probably feels good. We'll grade this one once we're finished with it. Not totally confident in the placement of this line in that direction, but we'll check the others. Okay. Okay. Feel decent about this one. Look what happens when I slow down and concentrate. Man, that was a pretty decent box. I'm no boxologist. I forgot at the beginning of the stream to go grab my favorite ruler. Oof. There we go. Got it. Let's do a tiny bit of analysis. I feel pretty good about this one. Doesn't look immediately rough. Uh-oh. I'd say these were actually decent on the side. It's this one. I did move it to the left there. You probably saw that earlier in the recording. R, G. I really do like these pens, but on the tip of them, not sure if it'll focus right here, like a bit of the ink, I guess, like ink and paper mix. I don't know. Get a bit of an ink goop on it. Not the most enjoyable thing. Same thing with the ruler. Like, watch this. For this ruler, right? Look at that. That's. I mean, you have to do that every once in a while because otherwise it'll make marks on the page. But yeah, so something to be wary of. Yep, see right there, just made a mark. That's splendid. Probably shouldn't have slammed my ruler down. That's on me for not respecting my tools. Those were pretty good. Maybe the eye is better than the hand. How's that quote go? Ooh, wow, this one barely converges. Actually, it doesn't. But this one really does. Oof. Pretty solid on the back one. Ironically, yeah, that one was not there. I did move that one around. I was saying at the beginning I wasn't feeling too confident in that one, but whatever. Also, you may notice that my music player is breaking a lot. I've given up. Actually, I can't remove it because I want to show the creators and artists who make these things, but at the same time, it doesn't look like that's doing much, does it? feel like this one's a bit flat, isn't it? Yeah, it'll work. Just realized I'm off the little canvas area again. Good stuff. Alrighty. So let's make this converge about right there. Yeah, because that means it's pretty far. This one should be pretty difficult for me to do with my mind. But we're gonna exercise that. Ah, no, goodness. That was a bit of a mistake. Also, I'm changing the stream name to Blows Up Boxes with Mind. I feel like that's better than Tumultuous Textures. Blows Up Boxes with Mind. There we go. Hopefully YouTube doesn't not like that. Uh-oh. Well, we'll see. Hopefully YouTube's okay with me blowing up boxes with my mind. Okay, so we're going to do this side, so that converges to about right there. Wow. Like, I'm looking down, I feel like a tiny bit of a double chin. I'm like, oh, that's not a good feeling. Whatever. Okay. So, yeah, generally right there. So, we want it to point maybe right there-ish. This is hurting my mind. We need it to be in more. If it's right there, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna say right here. Try that out. Nice. Trying to be a bit more mindful in my ghosting too. I've had a lot of just like, oh, do it. You know, I need to be a bit more. Oh, I think I made that converge a bit too much. Whatever. Mindful. Oh man, I want to ghost this so bad. Is there anything wrong with ghosting? Not at all. Intuitively, I just want to put it there, but we'll see. It needs to go to a left a lot. So. It needs to go in a bit. I'm gonna say right here. I feel pretty good about that. Why do I keep grabbing the thing? Oh, wow. There, okay. Call that one an accident. We'll see. So I'm gonna base it off of this one. Ish. Way too early. We need it to converge later. Sorry if this isn't as animated, but I'm using like 99.9% of my brain power right now. So little is being... Oh my gosh, I can't even talk. I was about to try to make a joke that like, oh, so much of my brain is being used I can't even talk, but look at that. You know what, I'm gonna keep that one. And we're gonna say we ball, because I think we're balling. Yeah, I'm gonna say even lower. I'm gonna double down. Let's see if my gambling strategy is correct. Very good line work today. I'm trying to be as mindful as I can. Very slow. I realize I've been rushing through the boxes. Like, as you can tell, we're already out of our time. We've been out of time. I mean, the stream's been what, going on for. Man, I need like a stream timer. That'd be. Actually, I'm not sure if that'd be good for me because like obsessing over how long the stream would be is probably not the best for me. Let's see. Currently, what is that? 20 minutes? So yeah, we are already 10 minutes over. Impressively. That's amazing. Anyways, let's keep going. It's Friday. We're gonna enjoy ourselves a little bit. Make some good boxes. Should have probably drawn that through a little tiny bit and been less scared of drawing through my planes. Nice. Ooh, yep, I said it earlier. That converges way too early. This one? Yeah, that's a bit of a mess. That's what happens with you draw a difficult box and you try to blow up the box with your mind. Yeah, now that these lines are here, I can already start seeing some other, like this. No, it is a prediction of mine that that will not end up well. Oh, this one actually turned out quite nice. Let's try to use the entire ruler there. There. Not horrible. Not bad at all. Better than yesterday's. And for not using, any ghosting or stuff like that. Man, I'm getting ink all over my hand. Ooh, this one's looking promising. Wow, look at that. That was pretty good convergence for So yeah, we have these two, which were pretty awful. So that comes from the furthest line, which we do expect, and I predict being wrong. This one, didn't really expect that one to be too wrong, so technically, because I form it mainly with these two, so this one and this one were the most wrong, which kind of makes sense. The back one's usually wrong, the left one's, or the furthest one's usually wrong. So let's just do a tiny bit of ellipses and then get into our texture of the day, which I'm somewhat excited for. We're starting off with the big ellipses. Let go of my pen right there on accident. Oops. Wow, that was pretty decent. Despite me freezing my fingers off today, I think we've done a pretty good job, line work wise. I'd say this is probably better than our day 2 lines. We'll just do this many, not a lot. I keep holding this. I haven't put the cap back on, not that I know of. Maybe I'm just being delusional. Gaslighting myself right now. Oops, that one was a bit messy. I need to ghost more. Let's do it. Pretty good. Oh, went off the page. I knew that was gonna happen. Alrighty. I was gonna retire this pin today, but it still feels pretty good. So, great work so far. I say we switch over to our texture of the day. Let's take a quick water break while we do that, and then we'll get to it. Awesome stuff. Okay, so our texture of the day is going to be rather dramatically the moon. Um, so actually, we're gonna take a side tangent real quick. Just realized I could have been creasing my uh-oh, could have been creasing my actual textures page with my phone. That was a bit dangerous the way I placed it. Anyways, we're gonna pull out an older page here. Hopefully it isn't too crumpled. I've already digitized it, so I'm not too worried about the quality over time. But I really like this page because it showed what textures I'm kind of good with and what I'm not too good at. Um, so what we have going on here is three textures. You're supposed to do the paper first. I ended up doing Olympus Mons first, or right Mons, sorry, which right Mons is a mountain range on Pluto. Uh, and so I started with this. I was like, uh-oh, I'll do it down here to make it look like I did it like somewhat ordered. Anyways, the textures I'm good at are when there's obvious extrusions or embossments in the surface. Um, so like mountains, very easy because you just take the shape of the mountain, right? Like it's standing like this, you're looking at it from above, and then you just flatten it. And then you kind of stretch and squash it based on what you need. What are the pictures of these songs? Anyways, same thing with alligator scales. I knew this little form to it, and I just flipped it. The paper, on the other hand, is like a valley or like terrain. It is very strange. There's not much going on to it. For the mountains, I kind of imagined a spherical surface just like this moon that we're about to do. And then there's these things sticking out of it, and it was flat, weirdly enough. This is like there could be a whole topographic subsection of this that is completely different. So that's why this is my least favorite texture of the page. And I think one of the more worse ones. Um, Obviously, I have all my critiques personally that I can do this, and I've received plenty of help from the Drawbox Discord. But that being said, the moon. I like textures like these. So this is a bit of a I don't know, a yay, we're back in it. Texture, I don't know, a texture to make me feel better. And actually, I kind of want to touch up some of my older textures too on here. Make some of the shadows from right there deeper, darker. Maybe here, definitely here. This is quite fine. Maybe here, I feel like it's already a bit crowded. We're not going to even look at the Guano. Ugly Guano. We do not like the Guano here. But yeah, so without further ado, we're going to do a quick study of our moon. I don't know if there's a specific valley or name to this. This seems to be quite the impacted side, but I guess maybe it's just because the shadow is making it seem like this doesn't have much shadow at all because the sun's directly on it, yet there's still craters there. But yeah, we also have some pretty pictures. I kind of like the mock picture I did here. It looks cool. Some close-ups of craters, so we could kind of understand their anatomy and shape, how the shadow fills the inside of it, and then some smaller ones in a lighter section to kind of help us. So I'm actually going to focus over here because this kind of has everything that I want. It really has from like the lighter section to the darker section. So without further ado, let us do it. So as per usual, and the music player is broken once again. This looks like a square. So we're going to draw a square. Awesome stuff. So, where to start? Probably on the lighter side. We'll do the gradient just like we did on our texture analysis page. So, looking at this, we're going to go right to left. Let's make some notes on the side. First off, we can tell that over here, the lighter section, deeper holes still have dark shadows. The reason why this side seems darker is because it's easier for holes and terrain to have shadows. And by that, I mean you have to be pretty tall on this side to cast a shadow, or pretty deep, because these are more deep than they are tall, right? Sticking out of the surface. So like the deeper it is, the greater the shadow. This, not very deep, so obviously it doesn't have much of a shadow from the rim of it. Oh, you can't even see my mouse right there. So this one, pretty deep, has that shadow. Very deep compared to where it starts. Big shadow. And also the size of it, because like this shadow is actually almost the same size as that shadow. Definitely in this case. We can see up here, not a very deep part, very deep. Very deep right here. Extremely deep, actually, compared to the rest of this. So yeah. And the pattern I'm seeing here is these larger ones don't have these dark circular shadows, these dots that they're eventually probably going to be. They just have these rims. But once we get over here, then they're treated like this. Like this becomes this essentially. And then it becomes so dark that, you know, light eventually turns into like a silhouette. So we're going to recreate that here. So on our lighter side, I like to think of it as like little objects, break it into pieces. So, you know, we have our medium craters, I guess you could say. You can still see it quite a bit in those. You have the tinier craters. This isn't a heavy reference from the image. It's just a bit of a. Do these? I mean, they kind of have the like crescent shape to them. Whatever. And then you have your big craters that have just the slightest broken parts to them. In fact, what we're gonna do is we're gonna. I already feel like we're a bit too dark over here. Make sure we add dotted lines across everything, kind of. We don't really have any other very easy to discern types. Some pin control will be necessary here. Yeah, so we're just gonna, I feel like, we do also have these ridges. They aren't circular, so we'll make sure to incorporate them. We could do one right here-ish. Hopefully you guys can see that correctly. So this little, yeah. That line technically shouldn't exist. Actually, technically it should, but I don't like it. Let's continue. One thing I do want to reiterate on these streams is I am very much a beginner, so I will say things that sound like they're with confidence, and they could be, but know that I'm confidently stupid. So take what I say with a grain of salt, and please consult. Oh my gosh, I forgot to start the timer. Yeah, okay, 1 hour. Yeah. Now, some things I say are very true, but I guess it's up to you guys to figure that one out. So one cool important thing to note here is, let's say we have a little shape. It's gonna be a cone. To give you guys a 3D view. Behold, a cone. You guys have seen these before. And so what this is going to look like from a bird's eye view is there's two options. A bird's eye. Above. Option 1, it is going into the ground. Into. So we have like a bit of a... Right? And out of ground. This could be a, hill, for example. And this can be a dip. Technically you wouldn't see the under part, but whatever. And what this is going to do in our bird's eye view is we're going to see one of two things. For the dips, we are going to have the rim of the shadow cast in, forming what we'll see as this. Wow, that was quite awful. Something like this. Whatever. Not a good circle, but whatever, right? And so dips, and then we have our hills. And it's going to be the opposite. So now, not going to shade that all in. It's a waste of ink and time. But yeah, so now that's sticking up. The sunlight is still coming from here in both instances. But this one has the hill preventing light from spilling over, and this has the hill preventing the light from going around. So we're going to get literally the opposite shaded things. So continuing forward, acknowledging that. So because I saw this little dot right here, and you could barely see that. So let's do a bit of a zoom in real quick, right? Bring it forward a bit. We had this it's a very small crescent facing rightwards, and that means it's a hill. But these facing inwards means it's a, what is it called? A crater. Not just a dip, but a crater. Let's continue. I mainly said that to keep some consistency, because I'm going to mess these up. I'm going to start the darker side. Uncomfy in his texture analysis did the smart thing of starting in the middle and then working both directions. I'm not uncomfy. I'm not smart. But, oh my gosh. I'm trying to do it so you guys can see me. What I can maybe do, pull it to the side, but then do a little, so you're ever so slightly tilted, but you can see, oh, that's so much better for you guys. Okay, only a tiny bit, but still, you can see that I'm making contact with the page, so that's... It doesn't help when you use pens that you have to really hold upwards. This one's kind of cool because it has like a bit of a spike in the center, so it's going to cause another shadow. Like this. Fun. Lots of ink. Probably did that a bit too. Yeah, that is... Ooh, that's a scar on my page. Whatever. We get the gist. That was definitely way too big. So we'll make everything smaller now. I did that inverse. Whatever. Everything over here really is just kind of craters. And then ridges. So if we had a crater right here, maybe a crater right here, crater right here, let's just do a big old crater. Crater right here, let's do maybe a ridge, so it's going like this. There we go. See, in fact, that should probably be our thickest line. These are a bit... Man, I really just look like I'm throwing up random symbols on the page. Bit strange. But we shall continue. In fact, I think I should make these craters bigger. Let's do that. I usually minimize detail in my drawings. Not in a bad way, just like I like fitting everything in there. Let's just focus on making these objects larger. Because then at the end of the day, I feel like I'm not going to be able to fit everything on my form. So why not just focus on what actually matters, what I'm drawing the tiny versions of on my little red pen analysis and stuff like that. Move the camera over just a tiny bit. So yeah, let me double check that everything's going correctly with the stream over here. Good stuff. And we shall continue. Okay, so let's really look at these craters. What's going on? And we have a perfect example over here. We have let's do a middle one, right? We're gonna have this rough circle. There we go. What's going on inside the rough circle? We're gonna have a bit of an extrusion, like we said. Somewhat even throughout, except for this side. For whatever geometric reason that may be. It has a little mountain next to it. Draw that little mountain. Nice. Ooh, one thing I noticed with craters, we could do this. Sometimes craters rise up a bit. Craters rise up. So they have these little fault lines, I guess. I don't know what to call them totally. Like that, you know? Specifically highlighting what's going on right here. These little lines back and forth. Or up and down, I should say. And then it has a bit of a little just offshoot to it. So yeah, this is all filled in. Dang, lots of ink. Just talking about retiring this pen, I probably will have to do that in a minute. Because geez, this is a lot of ink. And yeah, that has a bit of a... You have to remember the texture of these lines too, they're bumpy. They're not going to be straight and nice and controlled. Have little ridges in here. Wonder how big these are in real life. You don't get really a true sense of scale for these. I'm just drawing little landmarks that I see at this point, not really adhering to the proportion of many of these objects. Not sure if that's the right or wrong thing to do here, but I just kind of want to get a feel for these forms and what's causing these shadows on the other side, because the light's coming from this way. There are a lot of thick lines, let's do some smaller ones. I think that will give us a lot of detail on these. Because like you don't really know that this is a hill until maybe the shadows are, you know, going up the hill. Now, was this too thick? Yes, but I don't really care. This is just practice. I feel like these aren't totally like sharing the same style. I feel like it needs some more. If anything, these broken lines should be above the shadow, because the shadow kind of like is the largest form. I feel like you can't tell that these are craters or hills. What makes a crater? What can people see in black and white and immediately recognize that, hey, that's a crater and it looks realistic? Not trying to be philosophical, but what is crater? What does it mean to be a creator? Or creator? Shoot. Slowly coming together. Part of me just wants to rip the paper in half and be like, I hate this, let me stop. Other part is like, I enjoy this. I may not be good at it, but oh, the stream thing's still broken. Whoops. What a shame. I feel like I'm still not capturing it. So, when we have a crater, I'm gonna focus on this big one. Actually, no. Yeah. No. I'm gonna find one that speaks to me. Because I have the idea, the shape of a crater down. Crater down. It's just the application, I guess. What, it's... There are many tones happening here, so that's probably why. I just feel like I'm missing something. Try to make this one a bit more circular. I've noticed that these interior shadows are a tiny bit smoother than the outside ones. We're gonna pull out the Sharpie of Doom for this. I feel like it. We're going crazy. I feel like we should take a break sometime soon in the coming week. Maybe that will be my 24-hour competition that I'm going to, but just, we've been doing it a lot. We may be pressing it a bit too hard. Don't want to overdo it. Rest days are just as important as your normal days. The Forbidden Sharpie. Forbidden Technique. Awesome stuff. Huh. See, this is too pokey outwards, because now it makes it feel like it's up. I feel like that's more there. Very high fidelity. So I think it's mostly a shadow to circle ratio. This isn't perfect, and there's many things I like to correct, like too pokey. Not as much inside. And things like that. But also what makes a successful crater, what I've noticed, is a ratio. A ratio of shadow to form, or like a shadow to the actual size of the crater, because this takes no more than a fourth of Like we 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4th to a 5th to a 6th of the actual form. Probably 4th. These were a bit janky. With that being said, let's try to, focus up. Because like my least successful ones had a really poor ratio of form size to shadow, which also kind of just blew everything else out of the water. It made everything that what's the word I'm looking for? Not perspective. I can't remember the word for it. But yeah, it made the size and oh cool. Wow, I'm losing it, man. Whatever. Let's get back to it, right? Cool. So I'm just like messing with all my tabs right now. I apologize. Okay. I'm gonna do another test, another little swatch. This time, taking that rule into account or scale. Actually, let's not even do a swatch. Let's do a full-on form. Ooh, big form, big old form. Oh, encoding overloaded. Whoa! What is this error? Huh. Interesting. I just realized how quiet my music is as well. Oh, it's because my master volume was so low. That explains a lot. Wow, I apologize, guys. You've been like almost musicless this whole time. That's a bit loud. We'll do that. How's my voice in comparison? Yeah, okay. My voice is almost double, so we're good. Apologies. Back to the texture. So, let's choose where we're going to actually do this texture. They're right here. I'm happy with that. We do need to do some inner textures too. Most of the textures that I have on my board right now are not that, so we'll consider that going forward. So yeah, it's gonna like start here and go whoop around it. So we're gonna do the same here. Almost took out a corner on my page. Need to be more gentle, man. I've been very destructive over the past couple days with my pages. I mean, I literally ran one over the other day. Excellent. Oh my gosh, this is just a wonderful form. It's a bit large though. And our contours are facing inwards, so we're gonna do this. Relatively large degree. It's getting away from us. Oof. Then smaller degree, because it's getting away from us. So yeah, it's bending forward a bit. Didn't do that too well here, but on my actual page, much better. Yeah, these are practically the same degree. So yeah. I can kind of imagine the crater like sticking off right here. So we're gonna have like a lot of light on this side. So if we had a crater, I'm gonna draw it in markup blue. It's my custom, get my ink smearing page out. Like ink collects on the tip of this, so I usually just go to the side of the sticky note and just do that. So as we've definitely explored with the Kiwano melon, we know the crater will be a bit oval-like. Right here. Right? And the shadow that's going to come off of this, since it's a bit raised and then depth-wise, I'm going to have a bit of a shadow here. And then a bit of a shadow over here. In fact, a pretty pronounced shadow. Because the light's coming from that way. Right, and then we'll just do kind of spots all over this one. So like right here, nothing. Trying to get better at warping my forms too. We have a big one right here. Looks like I'm just making some Swiss cheese or something. Oof, that one should have been like this, I guess. Ish. Same thing down here. We have that going on. Oh wait, I forgot we're going all the way. Yeah, because these are going to start shortening height-wise the more they go over here, and length-wise the more they go to the sides. So over here, we're going to have like, in fact, if we had a crater, it would just look like that. It would actually go over a bit. Same thing with these, like this would go over, this would go over. Maybe have one right here. Could even do like this a bit, like we could erase it and then go down with the form. That'd be kind of cool. That's a bit excessive, but yeah. I like experimenting with this pen. It makes my job a lot easier. So these are going to shrink a bit over here. Our scale is kind of all wonky with this larger one, and this is messing us up a bit, but that's okay. Need some more varied width ones, I feel like. I'm going a bit weird, going a bit wonky. So red is my shadows, and what I'm actually going to draw. The blue is just the forms. And sometimes craters intersect with each other. They're little friends. I feel like this should have been foreshortened a lot more. You need to stretch, squished, squashed. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll have one right here. That one's gonna go. Cool. So now let's start shading these. So these center ones. And this will see like a little bit of bumpage because it is rocks after all. This one will maybe see a tiny bit right here. If these both go inwards, it's not going to really see any right here because the light's almost right above it. This one will be a bit bigger, just by the slightest amount. This one we'll see some right here and start seeing some in the inside too. It's going to see definitely a lot down there, and definitely a lot in the inside. Definitely quite a bit over here, and then yeah, that's just going straight over. The light's going like this, then yeah, we should also start like this one. We'll see a little bit of that over there, tiny bit from the insides, maybe a tiny bit happening right there with that form. Same rate about over here. Pretty big portion of that one. You won't see much of the inside of that one. This one's practically just going to be like going straight off of it. This one we'll see a tiny bit. Not much in the inside. This will actually see quite a bit in the inside. This one doesn't really apply. This we'll see a bit right there, because that one's coming up, and a bit right here, because it's going downwards. In fact, we can play around a bit, and like some are deeper than others. That may look a bit weird, but I think that's fine. Because I've kind of done this entire thing, assuming they're all like fixed with. Also, one thing I just noticed, this shadow has to like follow the contour a tiny bit. So we'll make sure to do that going forward. Like in the analysis, we've slowed down a bit. This was kind of like jumping a bit too fast into it. I like what's happening here. For a bigger one, definitely going to raise right here. And definitely gonna have something happening over here. It's a bit of a tricky one, because so much is in the light over here. And you have this, which is, it's going up and projecting over a bit. Yeah, these in the center aren't really going to see anything. Cool. So we have a general idea. Now, other than the craters, let's add some ridges. So maybe we can have like a couple blast marks. I don't know how we want to do that. Like these, I'm gonna call these blast marks. Just if the light's coming from this way, won't see much. Maybe like we'll see just a glimpse of one over here, just some tiny lumps of it. Over here you'll definitely see a lot more because it's much darker. I feel like we'll do this in purple. These, I'm gonna call them the hill shadows. For craters. Should be smaller. And note that I said for craters, because craters don't raise up that much, but they are really deep. So proportionally, they must be smaller than these. Emphasis on the much smaller than with the two greater than or equal to sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick sip and we're going to get back right into it. Alrighty, good stuff. Back to it. Just double checking everything's going good with the stream. Cool. So, yeah, ridges. Ooh, it's a bit tough. Looking at like a holistic view, actually, yeah, looking at it from far away kind of helps. Ridges will a bit small here, get a bit taller. Then over here, you're just gonna really see and ridges can actually help us a bit. They can go along with the contour on their flatter portions like this. And they can tell the viewer, hey, this is what the form looks like. Also, I forgot to do the shadow for this one. So that was already a bit big. But we really want it to just be really dark in here. Right? And maybe the ridge can follow this. Right? Maybe a ridge gets absorbed into another shadow. That one was a bit crazy for that height. What else do we have going on here? We do have just tinier craters, I mean. Because like most craters have just a lot of formations around them, so I'm kind of going a tiny bit crazy. Maybe we could go with a tiny bit more craters. These should be a tiny bit more mountainous. Yeah, in fact, wrong pin. We're gonna have just really a lot of bumps all around it, won't we? So craters will look like these plateaus, while hills can just look like this, right? And realistically speaking, no light is getting to these. Or actually, I don't know. I want to tell myself, oh, the light source is behind the camera. But then how would you be able, if it's powerful enough, how would you be able to see a lot of these shadows unless it's like directed to a certain point? That's kind of like the weird mystery of shadows. We can see it. Yeah, it's weird conceptually for me. So yeah, these can be darker, filled in. Because I'm just going to assume that at this point, like no light is reaching them. It's only like shining right here. That's the extent of the I guess radius. And near the edges, this should be really a bit more dramatized, even though I said not to. We do have really just a lot of these mountainous forms, and we should be doing like V's, like V. That's a mountaintop right there. So like looking this way, we should have a lot of like mountain. Yeah, that was a bit of a comically like triangular mountain, but you get what I mean. I think these are raising up over it. So mountain, mountain. Maybe not so much over here. Don't overdo it on all the sides, right? Just have maybe a ridge right here. Maybe just have like some residual marks. Maybe even crater came down into here, and it had like pushed a mountain behind it. I don't know. See, I need some ink flow like this. I feel like I have a lot more control. I just have the ink spilling out like this. Okay, that was a bit too much. Cool stuff. So like right here, we could probably, like there's probably gonna be a bit of a shadow coming from that already. Use a couple more ridges. Maybe some like pseudo, like, oh, there's about to be a crater, or maybe a very old crater. Some more shadow in there. Maybe just the lightest, I don't know. Just indicate, I mean, we will need to indicate that these forms are here. I shook a tiny bit right there. So yeah, we could add a couple more craters. Yeah, I think a part of the mastery of this assignment, or part of the texture, will be understanding how these ellipses rotate properly as they, go along it. We'll do a big one right here. Why not? Crater almost inside of a crater. Not that big. Just enough to be like, hey, there's a bit of a shadow happening here now. And that kind of like crater inside of a crater, this will follow that. Maybe we can have these actual ridges, so like hills stacked on hills, and then it breaks, and there's another hill, and then something like that. Cool. Okay. I don't know what this is going to look like. It's kind of hard to visualize what's going on. So we're going to do it in pen now. We've had adequate practice. I think I've put too much pressure on myself to complete as many textures as I can in a stream, because this just feels nice. This is making me happy. Oh! Well, time to tear the paper in half, burn it, and delete my channel. Wow. Oof. Wow, what happened? I was grooving earlier. What is this? I just didn't ghost. That's why. Okay. Ghosting is king. So now we don't have the luxury of drawing these blue lines. But let's say, hey, there's a crater here, so here's the overhang. And here's the inner. That's the top part of the thing. Then we got this in here. Um, and then, yeah, I feel like that shadow shouldn't be too pronounced. I think that's a good light level for right here. So, you know, what we have going on in here, let's do a big old crater right here. Yeah, so we have like this going on. Oh, this is gonna be crazy. I love it. We're actually gonna like do this to indicate, wow, this crater is big, so big that it's causing like a dip in the form. I don't know, this is maybe be fun. So yeah, there's obviously gonna be like a quite the shadow right here. Remember our shadow ratio ideology. Yeah, so I feel like the shadow is a bit too thick right there, but that's okay. So yeah, if we do a slightly larger one right here, I'm gonna have this is a bit bumpy. I feel like instead of bumps, we should just do it with lighter. I'm gonna switch out pins. In fact, these will be my warm-up pins and stuff now. I've had these for about 6 months, maybe even 7 months now. And I've done a lot of drawing, but let's crack open the brand new fresh pack of Drawbox pins. Shout out. There's tape on it. I can't get it open. Got these for Christmas. Thank you, family. Hard to mess up gifts when you give them the direct link. Awesome, a fresh Drawbox pin. Good stuff. Let's do a... Look at that. Ink's just ready to be used. World's wonkiest box. Whatever. Cool. Oh my gosh, that's such an amazing difference. Okay, we're in it now. This is awesome. Yeah, I feel like this proportionally needs to be much smaller, even though I do this line first, which is technically right. Yeah, it's more important to do this line first, but I'm gonna do this line, just make it thinner. So, 2 shaded on side for right here. Anyways, it's gonna get darker over there as it rotates around, and then ratio. This ratio him. Get a quick swig of water, and we're gonna get right back to it. Awesome stuff. Okay. Okay, so let's do an inner one. We'll do it. Actually, I just feel like doing this real quick. Tiny. Okay. So yeah, these near here, like if I did one just right here. The shadow wouldn't be over there, wouldn't it? It'd be on this side. There, we're done. That's it, right? And then do one here. It's gonna be a bit more solid on the inside. Nothing too crazy yet. We can use these broken lines to kind of be like, hey, this is the actual form of the circle. It's not just a weird looking ellipse, and I didn't do poorly. It's a very size of it. Let's get a big one, like wrapping like this right here. I think the game plan for doing this will be doing these broken ones. We can actually do like a little hill towards that. That's cool. I like that. And then like deciding, okay, we're gonna make it thick, we're not. Man, okay, it was the pen. This feels much better now. I don't have to feel like hitting it into the page. That's what happens when you do a billion boxes. Cool. Yeah, and for this one, you're gonna see the end of it, right? Unless it's like completely wrapping. Unless it's giant, you will see the end. So like even this one, even though it's going up there. In fact, yeah, that should have been manipulated a bit differently. We'll do a larger one right here. Need to ghost a bit more. See, yeah, that's like what is going on there. That should be an ellipse. Should look more like this. I say as I don't ghost and just go right for it again. Yeah, what am I doing? Let's ghost. See, the ones on the edges. So we have our center one, and we move out, and the degree changes to a line right here. So that theory. And the height is also decreasing as we go over here. Just like this one. Be a bit like that. I like that I have a lot more control over my pen now. Changing my pen just made the whole world for me. Obviously, it doesn't fix my lack of skill, but hey. That's some of those I was talking about. Okay, so let's actually start shading these in. A tiny bit coming off of it. A lot of this one will be dark. Same thing here. In fact, this should be more of a, like that. Degrees decreasing. Good stuff today. Is it perfect? Goodness no, but I'm definitely very happy with how it's turning out so far. All that I've learned about this texture. Yeah, I think I was on such a hot streak for textures, like I was just doing so many, that I forgot. Sometimes you just have to slow down for these. They're difficult for a reason. Kind of looks like this is going the wrong direction. You're supposed to be able to be looking into it right now, but I can kind of see how like this just looks like the rim of it. So let's avoid this. I don't know what's going on here, but let's avoid it. Avoid rim thing. I don't know what it is yet, but we're gonna avoid it. this. Oh man, that's a lot of texture to fill in. It's a lot of circle. Pulling out the Sharpie of Doom on this one. Of Dune, that'd also be technically correct. Not bad. If you like the other side of the crater, it is kind of missing some just like... I don't know. I feel like this side should also be a bit thicker. That was all... I think shadows will thicken up as we throw more ink at the page. I think this should probably see a bit more definition from right there. Our focal point, like the lightest zone, is probably going to be like right here, and everything off of that. Start doing our ridges now. We're going to start with the outside and kind of work our way in. Remember, we want, like, for example, that's a mountain, that's a mountain. Maybe a bit too peak. Just adding a little, kind of like a pseudo crater right here. I don't know. So the inner peaks may not be very large. So like, it may be like this, but the shadow may be like this. You know, because it's very tall, but we're not rotated at that point. It's like saying this is our ellipse, and this is its shadow, which is really extreme. But once we start doing this and saying this is our shadow, oh, that's a bit more believable, right? Because it's the sunlight's right here, and it's casting downwards onto like a table or something. I don't know. But yeah, lots of red on this page. I like it. This just looks kind of trippy, almost. I'm liking it. This is cool. 10 minutes left on the clock. We didn't get to a texture today yet. I'm just gonna finish this up and enjoy myself. It's Friday, man. Celebrate. People are out partying. Streaming to 0 viewers, man. Oh, what'd you do last Friday night? Good stuff. I was listening to Ali Abdal at the gym today. Feel good. Productivity. Highly recommend so far. And he made a quote that really jumped out at me. Oh, I've just put way too much ink right there. Oops. And I've always been like a very, discipline, blah, 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 discipline. It's all about discipline. Doesn't matter if you don't have discipline. And like in the recent years, I've realized that's both true and false. Discipline is very helpful. I mean, you wouldn't go to the gym without discipline. You wouldn't show up to school or your work or anything without discipline. But at the same time, it's not all discipline. You know, art definitely isn't all discipline. Sure, you have to be disciplined and ghost your lines as much as you may not want to. There's the common definition of discipline that it's the ability to tolerate pain. Which yeah, I agree with. But that won't get you to the end of the race, because it'll burn you out faster. It's kind of like a forbidden technique. If that, I know that sounds nerdy, but it comes with a sacrifice. If you're I figured this out when I was taking my discrete math class. It comes with a cost, because if you're constantly doing something that you really just don't enjoy, it does weigh over time. So you have two options. You could change the thing a bit and make it so you can enjoy it. You can externally, hey, I'm gonna change how this thing works. That's a bit too much ink up there too. Wow. Or you can, so you could change the thing itself, or you can change how you feel about the thing. This is the hardest one for people, because changing your opinion about something that you don't like is a very difficult thing. And so, also I'm following our like invisible contours I was talking about earlier here. Ali Abdallah suggests that you usually procrastinate, you don't do things. We use motivation and we use discipline as a way to get over procrastination. And he theorizes that instead of relying on motivation and drive to get over things because you're either, I think it was, you just are scared of doing it because you don't know the consequences, or there's the two other reasons why you may not do something. Make it fun, make it entertaining, make it something that you want to do. Address why you don't want to do it in the first place. I'm only scraping the surface of this chapter, but I think making the things that you don't want to do fun. Like right now, I wouldn't say I wouldn't want to do textures, but in some way, to avoid doing the more difficult textures or to actually do it on the page, I'm doing this texture, you know? Or just stuff like that. You can fall to like productive procrastination where you're doing something, it's just not the right thing at the moment to avoid doing the main thing. I do that a lot with school. I sometimes like do practice problems that are easier for me, which is not the right thing to do, trust me. You want to do the practice problems that are hard. Constantly challenge yourself in that regard. But yeah, so when it comes to art, I would highly recommend finding something that makes it fun. Because at the end of the day, you really want to do it, right? You really are like, oh man, I wish I was a better artist. I wish X, Y, and Z about myself. That's perfectly fine. And if you find yourself not enjoying it, yet you promised yourself that you'd do it, that you'd become better at something because the past you wanted it, that's great. That's awesome. Just don't make yourself hate it in the process, I guess that's the best way to put it. That was my big worry for these streams. So far, I'm loving it. No, oh man, yeah, this was a bit too dark. Too dark. I think this side was pretty successful so far. Plus this is a very big texture, so I have a lot of room. So yeah, TLDR, I know I'm yapping a bit because I'm just like kind of letting my mouth run while I just draw. Enjoy the things you do. There is no special reward in torturing yourself every day with doing things that you don't love. I was thinking maybe I always fall asleep to like long form videos. There's one I fell asleep to this like for a month in the summer. It was a 24 hours of Easter eggs compilation. May do that with these videos. Like I'll just splice a lot of them together. Like maybe algorithmically, maybe when there's like a lot of colors on the screen, or say something funny. I don't know. Just make like a 24-hour compilation of me drawing. It would be a bit interesting though, because, you know, only this... Oh. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset. You know what? We'll fix it. Next stream, we only have 3 minutes left. We can all suffer. Yeah, it's a bit difficult because, like, you know, the screen recording is this size, and that's way less than 1080p. So I would have to, like, crop a 24-hour compilation, unless I kept, like, chat and the ref here. Which is an option. This is turning out pretty good. I'm nearing the point of too much on the page. Yeah, it definitely was the pen. That was definitely something I needed to... Ooh! Okay, you know what? We're gonna call it there, and we're just gonna do a box or two. Awesome stuff. Yeah, we're a bit over time today compared to the usual. I think that's completely fine. Man, look at that. Some good stuff. Now you can see where we used our Forbidden Sharpie of Doom. Yep. You know what? I'm about to ban Sharpies on this stream, because look at this. Too dark. There's one of the Sharpies. I'm about to ban Sharpies from my Drawbox lessons. I've never benefited from it ever, except for that textures analysis page where it was like kind of necessary because I was super zoomed in. Forbidden. Okay. I'm gonna have to like get 3 people. I don't think I've ever had 3 consecutive concurrent viewers. Next time I use Sharpie, I'm gonna have to wait for 3 people to be in my stream, and I have to ask all of them, and they have to say yes, I can use it. So no more. You know what? Yeah, I'm convinced. Otherwise, I'll just have to use this. It is a warning that if I say I have to use a Sharpie, I'm doing too much. So, since yeah, we did go over time today, earlier, so we'll do the review session right now and call it a night. Good Friday night. So, looking at our stuff, really good. Okay, so yeah, we switched over to decent line work at the beginning, actually really decent line work, and we switched over to doing our boxes without doing our little ghosting method. This one we kind of did right here. But the rest of it, really good line work, really good execution, a tiny bit off here, but generally, very nice box. Over here, kind of lost it. We used a lot more of that technique, but it was also skinnier boxes, which I'm just much worse at. Still, great job. Ellipses, typical. We've been improving, and this is, you know, kind of the typical that we've been seeing, so nothing totally of note there. And then over here, we did an initial attempt. First, we were like, okay, let's do it small. And we realized, okay, we're both inking too much and too small, so we're going to zoom in. And then right here, we're like, okay, we have a bad ratio. We have a bad ratio of shadow to form. It is too dramatic, we don't like it, and it's just a bit crowded. So after that, we moved over here, and we're like, you know what, let's just apply it, see what happens, and we did a pretty good job. Then finally, we moved over here, and look at that. That looks pretty good. Bit of a too dark, not even too dark, but too far. It went too far. We want to push it back, right? But other than that, hey, I'll freaking take it, man. Yeah, so we'll probably get to this tomorrow, and then remember Sunday, the 21st, there will be no stream, and then actually there may be a stream. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to save a day, right? Because my week typically goes from Sunday to Monday. I know earlier I say it goes from Monday to Sunday, or Sunday to Monday, Sunday to Saturday, right? Because I'm doing that 24-hour competition, and Sundays are very easy to stream because I don't have much going on. What I'm thinking of doing is we're going to stream as much as we can for the next couple of days, and then once that competition kicks in, we may have 2 consecutive days of no stream, which I know kind of defeats the purpose, but if I get... It's like, what we're doing is we're taking a week, right? We have 2 weeks here. Actually, so. And you know, we're right here in this week, right? And we're saying, okay, we're going to keep all of our days. Then next week, we're just going to do this. So we're going to have all 7 days. And then we'll do 6 days and 6 days. So it'll work out. So it'll be 2 consecutive days not streaming, but it won't break our streak. I know I shouldn't be mainly concerned about our streak. I should be enjoying the process. But we're going to gamify it a tiny bit, you know? Streaks do help us maintain consistency. So, with that being said, thank you guys very much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed some of the new music for those who could hear it. I, once again, messed up my audio. And we had some weird encoding stuff, warnings going on, but otherwise not too many technical difficulties. So yeah, happy Friday. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Friday, or whatever day you're watching this. And personally, I'm going to have a good night. Celebrate my Friday and go to get some sleep. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.